We'll start off today focusing on the economy and looking at several figures. Well, Mr. Anogwi Anyanwu joins us this morning, CEO of MindShield. Thank you for coming on this morning again.
Thank you very much.
Well, focusing on the economy, we do know several reviews now about the Q1. The budget has been signed, and many were looking to see if some of those figures will actually go upward, but still remaining on the low side as we speak. And manufacturing sector also clamoring to see if they could get improved power supply to improve services. How do you suggest we eventually what key aspects now of the economy would you expect us to focus on to ensure that some sort of stimulus is done for the economy?
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. To stimulate the economy, usually government will have to spend its way out of the recession by putting in more money. Now, which sectors? CBN has started with the power sector. They just got 55 billion naira facility at single-digit interest rate to the discos and gencos. By the time that money is spent and power improves, is going to stimulate the economy, because once power improves, most things depend on power. There'll be more economic activity, both at the top level and the lower level. That's one. The second one is, this government promised that they're going to spend 500 billion to keep unemployed people employed. I expected that a lot of work would have been done on this before the budget was signed. All the legwork would have been done, all preparations would have been done. So immediately the budget was signed, that thing was supposed to have kicked off. Because if you kick it off and you get the unemployed graduates, trained and put to teach, and start paying them the stipend, there'll be immediate circulation of money in the system.
But can government actually provide the jobs, or they just need to provide the environment rather than focus on them providing jobs?
No, I'm just talking about that one. That one means government providing jobs. But of course, it's not government responsibility to provide all the jobs. There'll be jobs in services, there'll be jobs in manufacturing, there'll be jobs in oil and gas.
Do you see them doing enough to create that environment for jobs? Because we haven't seen the most recent figure. It hasn't been released, but the last one they were talking about 12%. But we know that as we speak, there are several companies who are laying off people.
Yeah, the problem really is much more complicated, because apart from economic problems, there's also security problems. There are also uncertainty in the minds of companies about, policy direction of government. So you find out that oil companies are pulling out, manufacturing companies are pulling out, multilateral agencies are becoming reluctant to bring money to invest in Nigeria. In fact, I think the World Bank has stopped the IFC from giving additional loans to Nigeria until they're sure in which direction our policy is going, until we reach an agreement with them.
They still don't seem to be sure, even though the budget is out there, signed to be implemented?
Well, with what has happened with, the recent price increase in petroleum, I think one aspect of their challenge is solved. The other aspect of their challenge is the giving the Naira a flexible exchange rate instead of fixing it by fiat. Not devaluation. Give it flexible exchange rate, so that it can go up or it can go down depending on the availability of FX in the market. So, but if it's fixed and is rationed, then it creates problems.
There are those who argue that there's a need for the thinkers, the think tank in the country to look inwards, the small and medium enterprises. Do you think that is a good direction to look at. Even in the situation where we have that financing is a big problem, even for the small and medium enterprises.
The small and medium enterprises actually all over the world, especially in the developing world like India, they are the engine of growth of the economy. In Nigeria, the small and medium enterprises will also be the engine of growth for the economy. However, you've talked about funding. Funding is a challenge. It's a challenge both for the small and medium enterprises and for the lenders. For the lenders, more often than not, the small and medium enterprise schemes do not have collateral. Sometimes they don't even have the requisite skills, to give confidence to the lenders. And for them too, they do not fully grasp, economic fundamentals. So they need training. Now, Lagos Business School has the Enterprise Development Center, but it's not enough, because how many people can go there? In a nation of 170 people, how many people can come to Lagos and go to EDC?
That will point fingers again at the lenders, because the lenders right now in Nigeria, for instance, have bad loans that they're having to battle with. But they can reach out to these smaller SMEs, train them, and still give them the loans as a backup plan. Isn't that an area they should be looking at?
Yeah. I know some of the lenders actually that are working closely with the small and medium enterprises in Nigeria. I can name you 3 banks, but I will not, because I'll be advertising for them. But I know that they have schemes for small and medium enterprises. They organize regular seminars. They have mentoring schemes for these people. And they even have dedicated account officers who, make sure that they give these people the skills they need. But I think more still needs to be done.
When you say more still needs to be done, what exactly are you talking about? Because if we're looking at stimulating the economy, the federal government has its hands full, so to speak. Yeah. The state government have their hands full. They all appear to. And you said here, the SMEs, like they have done in other climes, can drive the Nigerian economy. So what should be done now?
Everybody have to increase what they're doing. The federal government has to show more interest. Maybe establish a scheme, just like the CBN did for the power sector, by giving them single-digit facilities. Maybe the federal government has to set aside some money that will be, channeled through lenders and microfinance institutions that will reach the small and medium enterprises. And it can be set up in such a way that it will be single digit, okay? And the both federal, state governments, as well as the lending institutions, can establish more institutions for actually equipping people with financial literacy, because a lot of people who do businesses do not keep records. And if you don't keep records, you see money coming in and going out. How will you know whether you're moving up or you're moving down?
That's a big, big problem, because just recently there's a Nigerian woman whose son is to go to school abroad, specifically in Finland, and they wanted to see how she got the money transaction, and she's a big-time trader who doesn't even have some kind of accounting details to show that truly this is what I earn. Those people who never still believe in our banking system. Now let's focus on how best we can stimulate the economy with eye on the small-time business people, business player, your vulcanizer, and even your barber, the seller in the market, because it would seem as if some of these people, some of them really would love to lift their businesses, from the level they are at the moment to something better. but they still don't know how to do it. Some of them still don't know how to approach their banks. And for some, when they approach such banks, they don't get the vibe or the feedback they get is really not encouraging. Now that you talked about single digit and a couple of other things that really can help stimulate the economy, how can these people key into such sort of opportunities, if there are at the moment, so that they too can leverage themselves off what they are getting at the moment?
Suleiman, I think that, the input they need in terms of knowledge, in terms of education, in terms of services, cost money. They may not have this money to pay. So, we may have to have somebody come in, either NGOs or the government or the lending institutions, to be able to get advisors who will help these people. Because as an accountant, I know what to do to help somebody, but I also have to feed. Do you understand? So I will not spend all my time helping small and medium enterprises to improve their skills, to keep their books, if they are not going to pay me. I can do it as a charitable thing, but that's not going to be enough. And I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to recruit enough charitable accountants to say, okay, let's begin to train everybody to up their skills on bookkeeping, on how to keep records, on how to even do their banking in such a way that you can establish what they're doing. Okay, so maybe somebody has to come in, an NGO or the government, just like they have these lawyers that do services pro bono in the courts. You have accountants that volunteer to say, okay, let's set up a school. The other problem is some of these people, even when you have such opportunities and you invite them to come, they don't want to come because they may not understand what you're trying to say to them.
So you notice that too?
Oh yes, I run a program. There's a local organization I head, and then we have every month we have a training program. Trying to teach people skills, and sometimes you find out that people don't turn up. Even when it is for free.
Why don't they turn up?
Why don't they turn up? I don't know. Maybe they don't understand that, there's something to take away, because it's not, it's not like physical. You can't see it. So, but people have to be willing to learn and then to seek out, where do I get the knowledge? I talked to you about Enterprise Development Center at Lagos Business School. There is Faith Foundation. They organize training for small and medium enterprise people. And those training are almost like for free. But how many people who run small businesses attend those things?